When non-tech founders and business owners who are new to app development ask about software scalability, the tech community can be pretty dismissive. The general message is, don't waste your time worrying about scaling right now. Come back when you actually need it. The end. It's well-intentioned advice, and I generally agree. But I hate when I'm new to something and I ask experienced people for advice. And all they say is, you don't need to know, run along right now. Yeah, I'm new. I don't know what I need and don't need to know. You don't have to rub your balls in my face like that. So if you're a non-technical person new to app development and you're wondering what's the deal with app scalability, I think you probably don't need to worry about it just yet. But I'll still try my best to explain it to you in business terms. I want you to know why you probably don't need to worry about it right now. Plus, maybe you do, in which case, my team and I at AppSax Studio help businesses grow past $5 to $10 million in annual revenue with custom software. We've worked with over 30 leading brands from different industries. They all face the same sticking point: tech. Specifically, generic, off-the-shelf software was no longer enough to solve their problems. If they wanted to keep growing, it was time for a custom solution, where we come in. Most developers charge per hour, which puts a lot of risk on you since it can end up costing a lot more because of discoveries. At AppSax Studio, we use fee packages based on 8 years in app development. Once we know your requirements, we'll see which package fits best, and if we are wrong, the price you have quoted at the start is still the price you pay at the end. If your business is also currently stuck at 5 to 10 million a year, and you feel like custom software could help break past that, let's talk. There's a link in the description to sign up for a free, no strings attached strategy session. We'll go over your current constraints and you get honest feedback on whether custom software can help. Apply through the link and we'll be in touch. I'm only taking 3 of these calls per month and it's first come, first served. So if you want to work with me, act now. Back to the video. The scalability of an app is just a fancy way of asking, can we still extend the ability of the app to handle more users, heavier usage, and more complex features, without performance going to shit? The more we add, the more scalable the app. In this video, I'll be talking about how we scale apps, why apps have a limit to scalability, pros and cons of prioritizing scalability, and how to strike a balance. How we scale app. Again, when you're scaling an app, you're improving its ability to handle more users or giving it better features. There are 3 ways to do this. Number 1, scaling up, aka vertical scaling. We give existing servers more processing power. Number 2, scaling out, aka horizontal scaling. We add more servers to share the load, which also prevents your app from over-reliance on one server. Number 3, building new features. We add new features. Oh, and there's a secret way to scaling that developers don't want you to know. It's by downloading more RAM. Link to it in the description. It's not my site, and I make no money from this. I'm just sharing just because I care about you. But if you just stick to the 3 methods, there are always a limit to how much we can do. With some apps, the limit is so high it's practically limitless. Like One Punch Man has to have a power limit. We just haven't seen it yet. Meanwhile, other apps are so limited that it's like a diaper. When you have a full diaper, you don't have more room, you throw it away. I think most of you can understand that, but you're having a hard time trying to understand why apps have a limit to scalability. In my experience, non-tech folks have a hard time braining how digital products have hard physical limits. After all, we're not building houses here, right? In reality, building an app is very similar to building a house. You can only renovate a house to add so many new rooms before you have no space. If you want even more rooms, you would have to make them so small they're basically coffins. Or get a bigger house. That's exactly how apps and software works. Apps are built on software architecture. Another word for it is a technology stack, or all the development languages and tools we use to build the app. The tech stack is like a sandbox that contains your app. The app cannot grow beyond that sandbox. That's the case with no-code apps, fast and cheap to build, but very small sandbox. If the app's architecture can only handle a certain level of usage, once you hit that limit, you've reached the edge of the sandbox, with no more rooms to scale up or out or add more features. You need to build a new app with a different tech stack that can allow the app to grow further. So why not just start with a tech stack that allows for lots and lots of scaling? Sure, as long as you understand the pros and cons of prioritizing scalability. Look at Google. If 100,000 people suddenly decide to switch from Yahoo Mail to Gmail, no problem. Look at ChatGPT. When it first launched, all you could do was ask it to write shitty knock-knock jokes. Now it can analyze complex PDF, generate spreadsheets, graphs, and search the internet for reliable sources. And who knows what features they'll be releasing in the future. It's still shit at knock-knock jokes though. That's scalability in action. Google can handle any number of new users, and ChatGPT has tons of room for new features. Now imagine if Google said, "Sorry, we're full. Come back in 24 hours." Or if ChatGPT said, "Sorry, I can't analyze your PDF, but here's a killer haiku." Chances are you're going straight to the competitor. That's the reward of scalability. The certainty that your app can handle increased usage and accommodate new features based on user feedback. And what does it cost to have that kind of scalability that Google and ChatGPT have? More money and time than you or I will ever see in our lifetime. Hundreds of millions of dollars and thousands of hours of development. And I bet not a single person at Google or OpenAI understands their entire architecture just because of how big they are. The more scalability you want built into your tech stack, the more it's going to cost and the longer it's going to take. That is for certain. But meeting sudden spikes in demand is a problem that most apps will never have to face. Far more common is how to get users at all. That's why developers and long-timers tell newbies not to worry about scalability early on. We're jaded from years of seeing good apps fail. So it's hard for us to be worried about scaling until we see a need for it. But what we say, if you're going to engage a developer, there's nothing wrong with asking them to help you plan for scalability. But be realistic, and most of all, help your developers find your app's scalability sweet spot. Too little and your app will soon reach its limit, and you waste a ton of time and money building a new one. Too much and your app never reaches a limit, but you still waste a ton of time and money on something you'll never need. So how can we predict what's just enough scalability looks like before building an app? You can help us with 3 things. Number 1, user growth rate. Can you tell us how many users you expect right away? Can you tell us how many users you expect at the peak? And can you tell us how fast you think your app will get there? If we sort of know how big this app eventually is, we can plan a tech stack that allows for that. And how fast or slowly it gets there helps us plan when it's time to scale. This tells your developer how much load to prepare for. I need to add that my writer wrote this and I smiled as I read it. In my experience, almost every client AppSax Studio has worked with has zero idea about this. The ones that did have numbers already had a successful product or guaranteed customers. But that's just the cynical developer in me talking. What I say, remember? Number 2, feature requirements. We do this with potential clients and lots of developers do as well. Write down all the features you think your app will need. All of them. It doesn't mean we're going to build them all today. But once they are documented, we'll make sure the tech stack allows for these features to be deployed one day. That day may never come, but better that than you going, okay, now I want this feature. And your developer has to tell you it's just not possible with the chosen tech stack. Number 3, cost per user versus user value. Let's say you already know how many users the developers should plan for, and we nailed the feature requirements, and now we know the tech stack. We can estimate how much the average user costs in terms of processing power. It won't be exact and it is super dependent on the type of app, but it can be done. So let's say it comes to $10 a month, give or take $10. If you're charging $9 a month for a subscription, your app might still succeed, but as a charity organization, not a business. You could increase the subscription price, or we could simplify the tech stack to reduce costs, even if that means less scalability. But the business model can work. Of course, nothing will tell you whether or not you need to scale like actually launching your app and seeing user feedback, or lack of feedback for that matter. In which case, you don't need to know, run along now. But in a good way, I want you to run along to something useful. Something inseparable from app scalability is app maintenance. That's where once the app is launched and all major development milestones are done, all that's left is to keep it running. And keeping it running is just as important as building it in the first place. You can develop an app with the most scalable tech stack in the world, but if you don't maintain it and keep it updated, it's not going to scale anywhere because it's going to crash and get kicked out of the app stores. I'd love you to watch this video where I go over app maintenance costs and explain where your money goes when developers are in maintenance mode. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure you just did both, so thank you. Enjoy the video on app maintenance and see you guys next time.